Taurus. Proof you're not stuck, you're repositioning. If you are a Taurus and you have been feeling like life has pressed the pause button on your progress, what I am about to share will change how you see everything that has been happening to you. You are not stuck. You are not falling behind. You are not being punished for something you did or did not do. What is actually happening right now is something far more powerful than you realize. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this season of stillness is the most important one you have ever walked through. Right now, you might be feeling frustrated, maybe even a little lost. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you are standing in the same place. Your routines feel heavy, your motivation comes and goes, and there is this quiet voice inside asking, is this really all there is? But here is what nobody is telling you. That feeling, that heaviness, that sense of being stuck in place, it is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something enormous is being rearranged beneath the surface. And if you stay with me through every single tip in this video, you will not only understand what is shifting, you will know exactly how to move with it. There is a reason this message found you today. Let us begin. Tip 1. The stillness is not a stop sign, it is a signal. There is a very specific reason why Taurus energy moves the way it does. You are not built for speed. You are built for depth. You are built for permanence. And when the universe is preparing something permanent for you, it does not rush. Slows everything down. It quiets the noise. It removes distractions. And that is exactly what has been happening in your life recently. Think about it for a moment. Over the past several weeks, maybe even months, things that used to excite you have started to feel flat. Relationships that once felt essential have started to feel draining. Habits that used to bring comfort have started to feel like cages. And your first instinct was probably to panic, to think something was wrong, to wonder if you were losing your edge or falling into some kind of emotional decline. But what if I told you that all of that, every single bit of it, was by design? You see, when a tree is about to grow taller, it does not just shoot upward. First, its roots push deeper. They stretch further into the soil. They anchor themselves more firmly into the earth. And from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. The tree appears the same, maybe even a little weathered, a little tired, but underground something massive is taking shape. That is you right now. You are the tree. And the stillness you are feeling is not stagnation. It is your roots going deeper than they have ever gone before. This is critical for you to understand because Taurus has a tendency to measure progress by visible results. You want to see the numbers change. You want to feel the momentum. You want tangible proof that things are working. And when that proof does not come on your timeline, you start to doubt yourself. You start to wonder if the effort was worth it. You start to question every decision that brought you to this point. But the universe does not operate on your timeline. It operates on the right timeline. And right now, the right timeline is telling you to be still. Not because you have failed, but because what is coming next requires a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. Think about every major shift you have ever experienced in your life. Every breakthrough, every moment where everything suddenly clicked into place. Was there not a period of quiet before it? Was there not a season where it felt like nothing was working, nothing was moving, nothing was happening? And then, suddenly, everything changed. That is the pattern. That is how your energy works. The stillness always comes before the surge. And you are in the stillness right now. So instead of fighting it, I want you to lean into it. Instead of seeing it as a problem to solve, I want you to see it as a preparation to honor. Because what is being built for you during this quiet season, it is going to last. It is not a temporary fix. It is not a quick win that fades in a week. It is something solid, something real, something worthy of the patience you have been pouring into it. And I know patience is something Taurus knows well. But even for you, this season has tested that patience in ways you did not expect. The good news is, the test is almost over. And what comes after it will make every moment of waiting worth it. But there is something you need to do first, and that is what the next tip is about. Tip 2. Stop comparing your timeline to everyone else's. This is one of the most destructive habits a Taurus can fall into, and I need you to hear this clearly. Your timeline is not broken. It is not behind schedule. It is not inferior to anyone else's. It is yours. And it moves at the pace it moves for a very specific reason. But I know how hard it is to believe that when you are scrolling through your phone and seeing other people announce their promotions, their new homes, their relationships, their milestones. I know how it feels to watch someone younger than you achieve something you have been working toward for years. I know the sting of feeling invisible while others seem to effortlessly attract everything they want. And I want you to know that comparison is lying to you. It is showing you a highlight reel and telling you it is the full story. It is showing you the finished product and hiding the years of struggle that came before it. It is showing you one moment in someone else's journey and asking you to measure your entire life against it. And that is not fair. Not to you, not to your journey, not to the incredible work you have been doing behind the scenes. Here is what I need you to understand about Taurus energy and timing. You are ruled by a planet that governs value. Real value. Lasting value. The kind of value that does not come from rushing. The kind that comes from careful, intentional, deliberate building. And that means your results will always take longer to appear. But when they do appear, they stay. They do not crumble. They do not fade. They do not disappear the moment the excitement wears off. They become permanent fixtures in your life. Think about the people you know who seem to get everything quickly. How many of them still have what they got? How many of those fast victories turned into lasting realities? The truth is, speed is not an advantage. It is often a trap. Because when things come too fast, you do not have time to build the infrastructure to support them. You do not have time to develop the wisdom to manage them. You do not have time to create the emotional stability to sustain them, and they collapse. But you, Taurus, you are building something that will not collapse, because you are taking the time to do it right. Even when it feels painfully slow, even when it feels like the world is passing you by, even when every fiber of your being wants to speed up and just get there already, your pace is your power, and I need you to start seeing it that way. The next time you catch yourself comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 12, I want you to stop, take a breath, and remind yourself that you are not behind. You are building something that most people do not have the patience to build, and when it is finished, it will speak for itself. But comparison is not the only thing holding you back. There is something deeper that we need to address, and it connects to a pattern that most Taurus carry without even realizing it. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Your comfort zone has become your prison. I know this is a hard one to hear. Taurus loves comfort. You love stability. You love knowing what to expect. You love routines and rituals and the feeling of being settled into a life that makes sense. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Comfort is not the enemy. But when comfort becomes the reason you refuse to grow, it stops being a sanctuary and starts being a cage. And right now, for many of you, that is exactly what has happened. You have gotten so comfortable in your current situation that the thought of changing anything fills you with dread. Even when you know the change would be good for you. Even when you can feel in your bones that something needs to shift. Even when the discomfort of staying the same has started to outweigh the discomfort of moving forward. You stay, because staying is familiar, and familiar feels safe. But here is the truth that Taurus needs to confront during this season. Familiar is not always safe. Sometimes familiar is just known. And there is a difference between being safe and being stuck in something you have simply gotten used to. Think about a relationship that stopped making you happy a long time ago, but you stayed because leaving felt too chaotic. Think about a job that drains your energy every single day, but you keep going because the paycheck is predictable. Think about a habit that you know is not serving you, but you continue because it has become part of your identity. That is comfort working against you. That is your love of stability keeping you locked in a version of your life that you have already outgrown. And the stillness you have been feeling, that heavy, restless, something needs to change feeling. That is your soul trying to tell you that the comfort zone has served its purpose. It kept you safe when you needed safety. It gave you stability when everything else was uncertain. But now, it is time to expand beyond it. And I am not talking about blowing up your entire life. That is not the Taurus way, and it should not be. I am talking about small, intentional expansions. saying yes to something you would normally say no to, starting a conversation you have been avoiding, taking one step toward a dream you have been sitting on for years. That is all it takes. One step, one small act of courage, and then another, and then another. Because growth does not require revolution. It requires evolution. Slow, steady, deliberate evolution. The kind that Taurus was born for. Your comfort zone gave you a foundation. Now it is time to build on that foundation. And the beautiful thing is, you do not have to abandon comfort to do it. You just have to redefine what comfort means. Instead of comfort being the absence of challenge, let it become the presence of alignment. Let it mean that you are doing work that matters to you, that you are surrounded by people who truly see you, that you are living a life that reflects who you are becoming, not just who you have been. That is the new comfort zone, and it is waiting for you on the other side of that one small step. Now, there is another layer to this that most people overlook, and it has to do with how Taurus handles emotions during transitions. Tip 4. Let yourself feel without fixing. Taurus has a complicated relationship with emotions. You feel things deeply, more deeply than most people realize, but you have trained yourself to be strong, to be steady, to be the one everyone else leans on. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that feeling your emotions fully was a sign of weakness. So you learned to manage them, to contain them, to push them down into a neat little box and carry on with your day. And for a long time that worked, or at least it seemed to. But here is what happens when you suppress your emotions for too long. They do not disappear. They accumulate. They build up pressure. They start leaking out in ways you do not expect. Sudden irritability, unexplained exhaustion, a feeling of numbness that you cannot quite explain, a short temper with the people you love most, a sense of disconnection from everything around you. Sound familiar? That is not a personality flaw. That is emotional overflow. That is years of unfelt feelings demanding to be acknowledged. And this season of stillness and repositioning, it is bringing all of that to the surface. Not to punish you, not to overwhelm you, but to free you. Because you cannot build the next chapter of your life on a foundation of suppressed pain. You cannot step into the fullness of who you are meant to become while carrying the weight of every emotion you refuse to feel. It does not work that way. The new version of you that is trying to emerge, it needs emotional clarity. It needs you to be honest about what hurts, about what you are afraid of, about what you have been carrying that was never yours to carry in the first place. And I know that feels terrifying for Taurus, because feeling means vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like losing control. But here is what I have learned about vulnerability. It is not the opposite of strength. It is the deepest expression of it. It takes more courage to sit with your pain than it does to push it away. It takes more strength to say I am not okay than to pretend everything is fine. It takes more power to cry than to hold it all in. So I am giving you permission right now. Feel it, whatever it is. The grief you have been postponing, the anger you have been swallowing, the sadness you have been hiding behind a smile, the fear you have been pretending does not exist. Feel it, not to fix it, not to solve it, not to make it go away, just to acknowledge it, just to let it be what it is without judgment. Because once you feel it fully, once you let it move through you without resistance, it loses its power over you, stops controlling your decisions. It stops showing up as anxiety at 3 in the morning. It stops sabotaging the good things that are trying to come into your life. You are not weak for feeling. You are human. And the most powerful thing a Taurus can do right now is embrace that humanity fully. This leads directly into the next shift that is happening for you. And it might be the most important one of all. Tip 5. The relationships that are falling away are supposed to. If you have noticed that certain relationships in your life have been shifting, becoming distant, feeling forced, or quietly dissolving, I need you to understand something. That is not a loss. That is a realignment. And it is one of the most painful but necessary parts of the repositioning you are going through right now. Taurus is fiercely loyal. When you love someone, you love them with everything you have. You show up. You stay. You endure. Even when the relationship stopped being mutual a long time ago. Even when you are giving 90% and receiving 10%. Even when the other person has made it clear through their actions that they do not value what you bring to the table. You stay. because loyalty is sacred to you, because you made a commitment and you intend to honor it, because walking away feels like failure and Taurus does not do failure. But here is what I need you to hear. Loyalty to someone who is not loyal to you is not honor. It is self-abandonment, and you have been abandoning yourself for too long in the name of keeping the peace, maintaining the connection, or avoiding the discomfort of letting go. The relationships that are falling away right now, they are not accidents. They are making room. Room for people who match your energy. Room for connections that do not require you to shrink yourself. Room for love that does not come with conditions, expectations, or the constant feeling that you are not quite enough. And I know that is hard. I know that watching someone walk away, or realizing that you need to be the one to walk away, is one of the most painful things a Taurus can experience. Because you do not just lose a person, you lose a future you had already built in your mind. You lose the vision of what you thought that relationship was going to become. You lose the comfort of the familiar. But what you gain, what is waiting on the other side of that grief, is so much bigger than what you are leaving behind. You gain yourself, the full, uncompromised, authentic version of yourself that has been hiding behind obligations and one-sided loyalty for far too long. And when you show up as that person, the right people will find you. They always do. Not because you chase them, not because you perform for them, but because your energy will be so clear, so grounded, so undeniably magnetic that the right souls will be drawn to you like gravity. So let the old connections go with grace. Thank them for what they taught you. Honor the role they played in your journey. And then, turn your attention forward. Because the people who belong in your next chapter are already on their way. But before they arrive, there is something you need to reclaim. And that is what the next tip addresses. Tip 6. Reclaim your energy from the things that drain you. This is a practical tip, but it carries profound weight for Taurus right now. You are tired. And not just physically tired, although that is part of it. You are energetically depleted. You have been pouring yourself into people, situations, obligations, and routines that take far more than they give. And over time, that imbalance has left you running on empty. Think about your average day. How much of it is spent doing things that actually light you up versus things you do out of obligation, guilt, or habit? Be honest with yourself. Because if the answer is what I think it is, most of your energy is going toward things that do not feed your soul. And that is not sustainable. Not for anyone, but especially not for Taurus. Because your energy is your currency. It is the fuel that drives everything. Your creativity, your motivation, your ability to build, your capacity to love. And when that fuel is being drained by things that do not matter, the things that do matter suffer. Your dreams get put on hold. Your passions collect dust. Your goals become someday wishes instead of active pursuits. And you convince yourself that this is just how life is. That you are supposed to sacrifice your energy for everyone else and somehow find enough left over for yourself. But that is a lie. And it is a lie that Taurus has believed for far too long. Here is the shift I need you to make. Starting today, I want you to begin an energy audit. Not a complicated one. Just a simple, honest assessment of where your energy goes. Who drains you? What activities leave you feeling empty? What obligations could you release without the world falling apart? And on the other side, what fills you up? What makes you feel alive? What activities make time disappear? What people leave you feeling better than when you arrived? Because once you have that clarity, the next step becomes obvious. You redirect. You start saying no to the drains and yes to the fills. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, deliberately, one small boundary at a time. A Taurus who protects their energy is unstoppable. A Taurus who gives their energy to everything and everyone without discernment is exhausted. And you have been exhausted long enough. It is time to be selective. It is time to be intentional. It is time to treat your energy like the precious resource it is, and invest it only in things that generate a return. The return does not have to be financial. It can be emotional, spiritual, creative, physical, but there must be a return, because you deserve reciprocity in every area of your life. And demanding that reciprocity is not selfish. It is survival. It is self-respect. It is the foundation upon which everything else you are building will stand. Now, once you begin reclaiming your energy, something unexpected starts to happen. And that is what we need to talk about next. Tip 7. Your intuition is louder than ever. Start listening. Something has been happening to you lately that you might not have fully acknowledged yet. Your gut feelings have been getting stronger. Your instincts have been sharper. That quiet inner voice that sometimes whispers guidance, it has been speaking up more often and more loudly. This is not a coincidence. This is part of the repositioning. As the external noise in your life begins to quiet down, as the relationships that were not aligned fall away, as you start reclaiming your energy from things that drained you, something remarkable happens. The signal gets clearer. Think of it like a radio. When there is too much static, you cannot hear the music. But when you remove the interference, suddenly the melody comes through crystal clear. That is what is happening with your intuition right now. The static is clearing, and the music, your music, is starting to play. But here is where Taurus often struggles. You are an earth sign. You are practical. You are logical. You like evidence. You like proof. You like things you can see, touch, measure, and verify. And intuition does not work that way. Intuition is a feeling. It is a knowing without evidence. It is a pull towards something that does not always make logical sense. And that makes you uncomfortable, because trusting something you cannot prove feels reckless, feels irresponsible, feels like the opposite of everything Taurus stands for. But what if I told you that your intuition is the most practical tool you have? What if I told you that every wise decision you have ever made, every time you dodged a disaster, chose the right path, or trusted the right person, it was not logic that guided you. It was intuition. Logic came later to justify what your gut already knew. You have always had this gift. You have just been too busy, too distracted, or too skeptical to fully trust it. But now, in this season of stillness, your intuition is demanding your attention. It is sending you signals, nudges, feelings that you cannot explain but cannot ignore. A sudden pull toward a new direction, a quiet certainty that something is about to change, a persistent thought about a path you have not considered before. Pay attention to those signals. Do not dismiss them as wishful thinking or random noise. They are not random. They are guidance. They are your deepest wisdom rising to the surface because you have finally created enough space for it to be heard. Start a practice of checking in with yourself. Before you make a decision, pause. Close your eyes. Ask yourself how you truly feel about it. Not what makes sense on paper. Not what other people would advise, but what your gut tells you. And then have the courage to follow it, even when it does not make logical sense. Even when it contradicts what everyone else is saying. Even when it leads you somewhere unexpected. Because your intuition has been right far more often than your logic. And in this season of repositioning, it is the compass that will guide you exactly where you need to go. Speaking of guidance, the next tip reveals something about your finances and material world that most Taurus overlook. Tip 8. Your relationship with money is being restructured. This is going to resonate deeply for many of you, because Taurus and money have a complex, intimate relationship that goes far beyond simply earning and spending. For you, money is security. It is stability. It is the tangible proof that you are safe in a world that often feels unpredictable. And when your financial situation feels uncertain, everything feels uncertain. And lately, you might have been experiencing some financial shifts. Maybe income has fluctuated. Maybe unexpected expenses have appeared. Maybe a source of money you relied on has dried up. Or maybe you have money but you feel strangely disconnected from it. Like it is not bringing you the security it used to. This is not random. This is the repositioning working through your material world. Because the universe is not just restructuring your emotions and relationships. It is restructuring your entire relationship with abundance. And that includes money. Here is what is actually happening. You have been operating from an old money story. A set of beliefs about money that were installed in you long ago. Probably in childhood. Beliefs like money is hard to earn. Or there is never enough. Or rich people are not good people. Or you have to sacrifice your happiness to be financially stable. Or wanting more makes you greedy. Those beliefs have been running in the background of your mind for decades, and they have been quietly sabotaging your ability to attract and hold on to abundance. Not because the universe is withholding from you, but because your subconscious beliefs have been rejecting what the universe is trying to give you. Think about it. How many times has money come to you unexpectedly? and then disappeared just as quickly. How many times have you been on the verge of a financial breakthrough, only to have something pull you back to exactly where you started? How many times have you earned more, but somehow always ended up in the same financial position? That is not bad luck. That is your old money story playing on repeat. And this season of repositioning is bringing that story to the surface so you can finally rewrite it. The new story is simple. You deserve abundance, not because you suffer for it, not because you sacrifice for it, not because you earn it through exhaustion, but because abundance is your birthright as someone who is deeply connected to the earth, to beauty, to the material world. Taurus is the sign of wealth, not just financial wealth, but richness in every area of life. And it is time you started living like that. Start paying attention to how you talk about money. Do you speak about it with fear, with scarcity, with guilt? Begin shifting that language. Speak about money as a friend, not an enemy. As something that flows to you naturally, not something you have to chase. As a tool that supports your dreams, not a chain that binds you to work you despise. This shift in perspective might seem small, but for Taurus it is revolutionary. Because once you change how you think about money, how money shows up in your life changes too. And the changes that are coming in your financial world, they are going to surprise you in the best possible way. But first, you need to clear the old beliefs. And the best way to do that connects to the next tip. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. This might be the most important thing I say in this entire video, so I need your full attention for this one. You have been waiting for the right time, waiting for the right circumstances, waiting for someone to tell you it is okay to go after what you truly want, waiting for a sign, waiting for certainty, waiting for the fear to go away. And while you have been waiting, life has been passing by. Not cruelly, not maliciously, just steadily, day after day after day, moving forward while you stand at the starting line, convinced that you are not ready yet. But here is what I need you to understand, Taurus. You have been ready for a long time. You have been ready since the first time that dream entered your mind. You have been ready since the first time you imagined a different life. You have been ready since the first time you felt that fire in your chest and then immediately tried to put it out because it scared you. Readiness is not a destination you arrive at. It is not a level you unlock after enough preparation. It is a choice you make in a single moment. The moment you decide that the discomfort of staying the same is greater than the discomfort of moving forward. That is the moment you are ready. And for many of you, that moment is right now. But you are still waiting for permission. And I need to ask you, whose permission are you waiting for? Your parents? They gave you their best, but their vision for your life was shaped by their own fears and limitations. Your partner? They love you, but their comfort with the status quo should not determine the trajectory of your future. Your friends? They want you to be happy, but they also want you to stay where you are because your growth makes them confront their own stagnation. Society rewards conformity. It applauds people who stay in line, who do not ask for too much, who accept what they are given without demanding more. None of those sources will ever give you the permission you are looking for, because the permission you need, the only permission that matters, can only come from you. You have to give yourself permission to want more, permission to dream bigger, permission to fail and try again, permission to leave what is not working, permission to be uncomfortable in the pursuit of something extraordinary. And I know that feels selfish to Taurus, because you have spent your whole life being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who puts everyone else first and takes whatever is left over. But what if being responsible to yourself was the most generous thing you could do? Because when you are living a life that is aligned with your true desires, you show up differently. You are more present, more joyful, more patient, more loving. You have more to give because you are no longer running on empty. You are no longer resentful or exhausted or quietly bitter about the things you gave up. You are full. And from that fullness, you can give more genuinely than you ever could from a place of depletion. Stop waiting for permission. Give it to yourself. Today, right now, in this very moment, decide that you are allowed to want what you want and pursue it without apology. That single decision will change more in your life than years of waiting ever could. And once you make that decision, there is one final piece that ties everything together. Tip 10. Trust the timing of your repositioning. We have covered a lot in this video, and if you have stayed with me this long, it is because something in these words is resonating with the deepest part of who you are. So let me bring it all together with this final tip. Trust the timing. I know that sounds simple, almost too simple for everything you are going through, but the power of this principle cannot be overstated, especially for Taurus. You have spent your life trying to control timing, trying to force things into your preferred schedule, trying to make life fit into the neat, predictable timeline you created in your mind. And when life refused to cooperate, you felt frustrated, defeated, like you were doing something wrong. But you were not doing anything wrong. You were just trying to control something that was never yours to control. Timing belongs to a wisdom greater than your logical mind. It operates on a frequency that your plans and schedules cannot access. And the more you try to force it, the more resistance you create. Think about the moments in your life that changed everything. The chance encounter that led to a deep connection. The unexpected opportunity that appeared just when you had given up. The door that opened right after another one closed. The breakthrough that came at the last possible second. None of those things happened on your timeline. They happened on the right timeline. And if you had forced them, if you had tried to make them happen sooner, they would not have worked. Because the conditions were not ready yet. You were not ready yet, even though you thought you were. This season of repositioning you are in right now, it is happening at exactly the right time. Not a moment too soon. Not a moment too late. Every delay you have experienced has been intentional. Every setback has been a setup. Every closed door has been protection from something that was not meant for you. And every moment of stillness has been preparation for what is coming. And what is coming, Taurus? It is worth every second of the wait. I cannot tell you exactly when it will arrive. I cannot give you a date or a deadline. What I can tell you is that it is closer than you think. And the fact that you are here listening to this, feeling these words land in your chest, that is proof that the shift is already underway. You do not need to know all the details. You do not need to see the full picture. You just need to trust that the same wisdom that has guided you through every challenge in your life, the same quiet strength that has carried you through every storm, is guiding you now. And it has never let you down. Not once. So release the grip. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Stop trying to see around corners, and instead plant your feet firmly on the ground, the way only a Taurus can, and trust. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust that the stillness has purpose. Trust that the repositioning is leading you somewhere beautiful. Trust that you are not stuck. You never were. You were always just getting ready. Getting ready for a life that matches the depth of who you truly are. And that life, it is right around the corner. Closer than you have ever been. And when it arrives, you will look back at this season and understand. You will understand why it had to happen this way. You will understand why the delays were necessary. You will understand why the stillness was sacred. And you will be grateful, not just for where you ended up, but for everything it took to get there. Because that is the Taurus way. You do not just arrive at your destination. You earn it. You build it. You create it with your own two hands, one patient step at a time. And what you create lasts forever. Everything I have shared with you today was not random. It was not generic advice dressed up in astrological language. It was a mirror held up to the exact season of life you are walking through right now. Every tip, every insight, every word was designed to remind you of something you already know deep inside but have been too tired, too overwhelmed, or too distracted to remember. You are not stuck. You have never been stuck. What feels like stagnation is preparation. What feels like failure is foundation. What feels like the end is actually the beginning of something you cannot yet see but can already feel. The stillness is sacred. The emotions rising to the surface are there to heal you. The relationships falling away are making room for ones that match the person you are becoming. The financial shifts are restructuring your relationship with abundance. And the quiet voice inside, the one that keeps whispering that something big is coming, it is telling you the truth. This is your season to trust, to feel, to let go, to reclaim your energy, to listen to your intuition, to give yourself the permission you have been waiting for someone else to offer, and most importantly, to keep going, even when it is slow, even when it is hard, even when you cannot see the finish line, because you are a Taurus, and you were built for this, not for the fast lane, not for shortcuts, not for flashy temporary victories. You were built for the long road, the one that takes longer but leads somewhere permanent, somewhere real, somewhere that nobody can take from you because you earned every single step. So take a deep breath, feel the ground beneath your feet, and know, really know, that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The repositioning is almost complete, and what comes next will be proof that every moment of patience was worth it. You have two options after this video: close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.